If you're watching this video, then I'm sure you know that in honor of the Five Nights at Freddy's 10-year anniversary, Springtrap and the pizzeria are coming to Dead by Daylight. The thing is, a lot of people are kind of confused on who Springtrap is and why the killer isn't someone like Freddy Fazbear. So in this video, I'm going to briefly go over the lore to try and explain as much as I can to you in as little time as possible. Keep in mind that this is not going to be a deep dive, and it's more so geared towards the Dead by Daylight players that like to know a little bit more. And honestly, I'm doing you a favor because some of those lore videos are 24 hours long, and I watched them for this, so you're welcome. In this video, we're only going to be going over games 1 through 6, and the lore is only going to be from the games, so no books and no games after 6. Also, the games in number order aren't necessarily in chronological order, so for example, 4 takes place before, say, 1 or 2. And because we kind of have this Star Wars situation going on, I'm just going to leave whichever game I'm currently talking about in the corner of the screen. Anyways, let's get into it. So the first thing you need to know is that there were two men, Henry Emily and William Afton. They were business partners who owned a pizzeria with furry animatronic characters and had innovated because they made these characters double as wearable suits. The gears inside of the animatronic suits were able to shift and create a hollow inside so that someone would be able to wear it. In theory, the animatronics would perform on stage, the curtain would close, and someone could jump inside and walk out of the stage, really adding to the immersion for the children. However, these suits were not perfect, and they had a lot of malfunctions when it came to water. See, if water or moisture got in contact with the gears of the suit, the springs would lock up, thereby reverting the suit to its original animatronic state, whether or not someone was actually inside of it. It's at this point that I should mention the business partner's children. William Afton has 3 children, his daughter Elizabeth and 2 sons, Michael and Evan. Michael being the older brother and Evan being the younger brother. Henry Emily also had a daughter named Charlotte, but she'll come into play later. Evan was terrified of the animatronics his father had created, which were 2 golden animals, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. At the beginning of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, Evan slated to have his birthday party at Fredbear's family diner in 5 days. However, it seems like that wasn't really up to him because he's still utterly terrified of these animatronics, the FNAF 4 gameplay being his nightmares of them leading up to the party. We see that in the minigames, his older brother Michael likes to tease him and scare the shit out of him with the foxy head. Michael was very much a bully and harassed his younger brother Evan constantly, leaving Evan to always be crying and thinking about the animatronics. When it came time for Evan's birthday party, Michael and his friends forced Evan up into the air and into the mouth of the Fredbear suit. While this was meant to be bullying, they couldn't have foresaw what was actually going to happen. The tears running down Evan's face came into contact with the Fredbear suit, causing the springs to lock up and the jaw to clamp down on Evan's skull. Evan's head had been bitten off by the Fredbear animatronic. Because of this, Henry and William had to shut down Fredbear's family diner, except something strange happened. Due to what the in-game universe describes as remnant, which is effectively the souls of children, Evan's soul was able to bond to the animatronic. In the rest of the FNAF 4 gameplay, the only animatronic hunting you in your nightmares is Fredbear, symbolizing a link between you and the animatronic that ate you. William Afton was intrigued by this and decided to harness the secrets of this remnant in order to bring back his child's life. He went on to create the sister location full of animatronics that were specifically designed for killing children. He wanted to kill children and understand how their bodies possessed the animatronics to see how he would be able to bring back Evan. The most notable animatronic of these being Circus Baby. William's only daughter, Elizabeth, loved Circus Baby and would never want to be away from the animatronic for long. But you'll have to remember that these animatronics were designed for killing kids with no way to discern William's kids from other children. Eventually, Elizabeth had gotten her time alone with Circus Baby, where she was then pulled in and crushed into Circus Baby's stomach, then possessing the animatronic, as well as the other fun-time animatronics that haunted the establishment. After William realized that he had now lost another child, he shut down the sister location. He became an absent father to his only child Michael and went off to be an alcoholic, creating Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The gimmick was the same, designing animatronics to kill children. He had now lost 2 of his own and was driven completely mad. After discovering what William was up to, Henry Emily decided to completely abandon him as a business partner. Missing 2 of his children and now one of his best friends, he had grown completely bitter. One day, Henry's daughter Charlotte was outside of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria at a party alone when William Afton murdered her in cold blood. At this point, he was driven completely crazy and figured if he had to lose his children, then Henry had to lose something too. Except Henry foresaw this and had built a puppet known as the Marionette to protect Charlie. However, when Charlie had wandered outside, the marionette was trapped inside of the pizzeria, eventually breaking out to discover her corpse. Not knowing what to do, the marionette lay down alongside her, holding her, until her soul was absorbed into the marionette. So just to recap so far, Charlie is the marionette, which is Henry's daughter, and Evan and Elizabeth are Fredbear and Circus Baby respectively, who are William's children. Now, the methods of which William would kill children should be known. He had taken the original Spring Bonnie suit from the Fredbear's family diner all the way back in FNAF 4. Yeah, the one with the faulty spring locks. He would use the suit to lure children behind the scenes where he would then kill them. And after he killed the puppet, she wanted revenge. She took all the souls of the dead children and organized them into different animatronics. This culminated in a confrontation with Springtrap, who, no match for the animatronic suits, went to run and put on his own Spring Bonnie suit, which as a result of blood, sweat, and tears was exposed to moisture, causing the springs to lock up, effectively killing him and piercing his body with every spring, or so we thought. Let's go back to Michael for a second, the only surviving child of William Afton. He had felt immense guilt for what he had done to his little brother, and after losing his little sister too, he wanted answers, except now his father was gone. Before his father had left, however, he did tell him that his sister was somewhere in the sister location and that he needed to go looking for her. After accepting a job as overnight maintenance and security guard for the sister location, Michael discovered some gruesome things. He eventually learned that all of the animatronics inside of the sister location were possessed with the souls of dead children, and they wanted out. Except they couldn't get out as their animatronic selves. They morphed all their souls and all their endoskeletons together, including Elizabeth, the daughter of William, and went on to form Ennard, a twisted amalgamation of all the lost souls. Because they couldn't get out in their animatronic bodies, they figured that they would insert their endoskeleton into Michael's body, tracing him home, ripping out his insides, and stuffing themselves inside of him, which essentially led to Michael becoming a living corpse housing multiple souls within him. However, this wasn't sustainable as Michael's organs needed to be removed for him to house these animatronics, and his body started to decay and turn purple. When this happened, the animatronic known as Ennard had ejected itself from Michael's body. Except something strange happened. Michael wasn't dead. Due to remnant or perhaps the supernatural power of souls in the FNAF universe, Michael remained a living corpse. And he was pissed. He needed answers, and he needed to find his father, except he couldn't go out in the daytime looking the way he did. This caused him to take overnight security jobs in FNAF 1 and 2, effectively retracing his father's steps and learning about how horrible of a person his father actually was, as well as how many children William killed in his vendetta. After learning about how his father had killed his siblings and how he had almost killed him, he needed to confront him. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Michael takes up a job as an overnight security guard at a Freddy Fazbear's horror attraction, which seemed to have retrieved a original Springlock Bonnie suit stained in blood. This was no doubt Michael's father, with the suit coming alive at night trying to kill Michael. Every night, working at this attraction, William Afton would be making his way towards his son in an attempt to kill him, with Michael's only defense being a suit's pre-designed mechanism to chase children's laughter. See, the suit was designed to lure out and entertain children, and since the suit had completely impaled Springtrap, it was still technically in animatronic mode. So whenever Michael would play the sounds of children over the cameras, the suit's AI would override William's will and go towards the laughter. No more did Michael have a father. All that was left was the monster known as Springtrap, a child-killing, twisted amalgamation of flesh and metal. FNAF 3 culminates with the attraction being burned down, presumably thanks to Michael, effectively killing Springtrap, except not again, another fake out. See, although Springtrap's original motivation for sourcing the remnant and the dead children was to bring back Evan, after he died his main motive was to source immortality and live as long as he could, since he was too much of a coward to face his own death. And now at this point we still have a lot of loose ends. We have Ennard on the loose, we have the puppet, we have Springtrap still alive, and basically every animatronic / dead child up to this point so far. Eventually, a mysterious man who is able to track down all these animatronics gets into contact with Michael, assisting him in building a fraudulent establishment with the main purpose of getting all the animatronics in one spot. See, this new pizzeria was just a ruse to lure in all the animatronics and Springtrap. And it worked. Eventually, in FNAF 6, you have all the animatronics gathered in one location, as well as Springtrap there ready to kill you. And it's in this moment where the original mysterious man reveals himself to be Henry Emily, aka the puppet's father, aka William's ex-business partner. And he explained that the entire thing was a trap, looking to kill everyone involved. His last words were meant to completely detest Springtrap and everything that he had done, while simultaneously easing the souls of the children and Michael as they passed on to the afterlife, apologizing to his daughter for allowing William to kill her, and promising never to leave her again.
You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. This is where your story ends. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends for all of us.
Burning them all and tying up all loose ends while simultaneously killing everyone in the process. Or at least until he came back again. But we won't talk about those games, seeing as those kind of muddy up the timeline and get super complicated. Hopefully this video helps you see how much of a G Michael is and why it's so disappointing we didn't get him as a survivor in the chapter. Nonetheless, I'm still super pumped for this DLC and I hope you guys are too. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Did I miss anything? Do you have any more questions about anything? I try to keep it simple with this one, and I am by no means a lore expert. So let me know how you would change it in the comments. Expect a ton of Springtrap gameplay videos once he's released to DVD. And have a nice day. I don't understand. So if Ennard needed Michael to escape the sister location, how was he able to trace him down to his home? How did he even get out how did he get into his house?